Claire, and this is our third episode of our knitting video podcast. Yay for three!
Three! Yeah, we need to practice.
I don't know what's going on there.
Okay, so we're going to start, as usual, by showing you what's new in the shop. We're going to have a little different format today because we're going to go through our stuff, but then we have a special treat because Sam Barsky, yay! He came to visit us the other night, and we had just the greatest time, so we want to share that with you. Okay, new yarns in the store. We didn't get a chance to talk about this because we didn't have it last time, but it's almost sold out. We just love it.
We did reorder it though, so we're going to be getting more.
We'll be getting more, but it's 3 Irish girls. And this is a fingering weight yarn. It's Adorn Luxe, 85% merino, 15% nylon. Perfect for shawls. It's beautiful. Everybody's just been going crazy.
The base is really, really squishy
super soft.
and soft.
Super soft. And I love these that they do that are kind of, they're neutral colors. They do white, black, and gray with just a splash of rainbow.
Love
the rainbow.
Love it.
What are we
that's
doing?
not
No,
nice.
not
What's
here.
this? What's that?
Oh, okay.
What's
So we're going to
that?
go over gadgets too. We're doing everything individually this time. This is the Acreworks swatch gauge. That is a new gadget we have in the store that I absolutely love. It's really well made and solid. It has these little teeth that grips into your work. And I'm going to show you how it works right here. You can use it on knitting and crochet, but you put it down and then you can count your rows and your stitches. It isolates them.
Exactly.
And it catches them in their crosshairs. Oh, whoa.
Pretty
So much easier
Yeah.
to count.
We're loving these, and kudos to them. They made a really nice, durable product. So we're very happy to have that.
Big fans.
So what is that you put it on?
Oh, this is one, what's on my needles. And some of you know that I do tutorials for this online company called idealme.com, and they do these 30-day crochet challenges. I'm not teaching this time, but I'm actually doing it.
Because it's cool.
Because it's really fun to do.
Love it.
And Terry from over at Wildfiber designed this beautiful bag that we made out of Avalon and my favorite yarn called Marmo. It's just gorgeous. And
That's Cascade Avalon.
Cascade Avalon
and Luisa
in 2 colors.
Harding Marmo.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank goodness for daughters who have brains that work. Yes. Okay, so that's
Sometimes.
that. And what I finished recently is this that you saw on the last podcast, Martha's Meadow. And this is made with Left Coast Dye Works, Pico Picado, and Neighborhood Fiber Company. I can never remember the whole name. What is it?
Victorian Village.
Is that what the name
That's
is?
the name of the colorway.
The color, but
colorway.
the yarn is their lace weight.
The lace weight, it's called Capital Luxury Lace.
That's right. Okay.
And it has wool and cashmere.
And a little bit of cashmere.
And silk.
Oh my God, thank goodness for Alita. But
did
I
her
really
homework.
love the difference in the fingering weight and the lace.
I love
it has texture. It's a fun lace pattern. Awesome. But my most favorite thing I've worked on lately is
What?
a
Oh,
little bear.
Oh,
Yay.
he's cool.
I've
He's
had
so
the most
cool.
fun making
love
this guy.
his bow tie.
This pattern is called Vera, and it's by.
Gotta read the
remember
name.
her name.
Where's your pattern?
Oh, here it is. Hold on. Here it is. It's by Anita Wilshut.
Check the show notes.
yeah, look at the show notes.
Yeah, and it was made out of Noro Cordiopatura, and
Characteristic Noro coloring.
It's cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I just love it. It's such a well done pattern because it's all in one piece, and then you go back and you pick up for the ears. I decided to make it a little bow tie because it looks so dapper to me.
And she did the shoelaces.
I did the shoelaces. I felt the feet were a little big, so I just scrunched them up and made some shoelaces.
Very
so there's
cute.
that one, and then
What else we got?
a little baby version of the hat, the washi, Katia
We
washi
featured
hat.
that hat last time.
We did, but I had some yarn left over, so I
Adult
made
hat.
the little junior version. Which, how cute would this be on newborns?
Adorable.
Covers their little bald heads.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially in Los Angeles.
Yes.
They're going out in the
Yes.
sun. They need protection.
You need a sun hat.
Okay,
Yes.
Alina.
You did it. Good
I
job.
did it, I did
And you
it.
look fabulous today. I love this
Thank
dress.
you, thank you, thank you.
So my name's Alina. Hi.
Hi, Lena.
Yep.
I'm gonna show you some new yarn, just a few. This is not a new yarn. We've had this before, obviously, Neighborhood Fiber Co. But we did just get a big restock, and we got some new colors.
Great
And we
colors.
got this other stuff that
Beautiful.
Lenora's going to talk about in a second. But these are a couple of the new colors. One speckled one, and then this great color called
What weights do you
Georgetown.
have of that?
We have it in, well, the new stuff we got is in the Studio Sock and the Studio DK, both of which are 100% superwash merino. So that's that. Next, I'm going to show you these that have been wildly popular.
that's awesome.
These Harry Potter
Yes.
stitch markers.
Harry Potter inspired.
Harry Potter inspired.
Watch that.
Yeah, trademark. Harry Potter inspired stitch markers that we found from the Seedy Merchant. He's this guy based in Wisconsin, I
I
believe.
think so. He's
And
really cool.
really, really nice guy. And incredibly detailed, really, really fun stitch markers.
They're
For
amazing.
anyone that's like a Harry Potter nerd, it's like really exciting.
They
Even
disappear
people
like magic.
I've shown them to people who aren't even knitters, and they're like, I want that because I want to make
one.
earrings out of them or something. They're really, really great.
Yeah.
So every time we've stocked them, they've sold out completely. So hurry and buy them. Next, I have what I'm working on, which comes from Pom Pom's summer issue from last year, 2016, which has a lot of really great tank tops and tops and summery patterns. And I've been lusting after this T-shirt for a while. It's called Vara.
Very nice.
And they made it in a silk, I think a linen and silk blend. It's very pretty.
What are you
And
making?
I'm making it out of Forbidden Woolery, which we featured in, I think, our first podcast.
Yes.
Proverbs, which is a cotton and linen blend. And I've
Great
loved this
yarn.
colorway.
That is
So
gonna
I
be
know
so
it's not
nice.
much to see yet, but I just started it. I'm doing the yoke. And the yarn is knitting up really beautifully, and I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a really nice kind of staple piece in my wardrobe.
Yeah, and it'll
'cause-
get softer as you wash it.
Exactly,
Yep.
exactly.
Yay. And what is this?
And then
around
this,
your
what's this? I was working on this in our first podcast because I've been working on it forever. I'm sorry I didn't weave in the ends yet, so it looks sloppy still.
Oh.
But it's my Find Your Fade.
Let's see it. Did you ever find
It felt like I finally
which
gave
is it from?
birth.
That's the
Yeah.
end.
Oh, that's great.
Those, look at
Love
that piece of
Love it.
wonderfulness.
So it's like ginormous.
Hold that up in one arm.
But
Love it.
really
Love it.
excited about it. Really happy with how it turned out.
And not afraid of color.
And not afraid of color.
I love that eye staring
Certainly
stuff.
not.
No.
So I used hedgehog sock, which we're going to be talking about later. I used mono, salagria, some hand-dyed skeins that I had in my stash.
I see some
Did you use
Tashling
Jing?
alive.
Jing?
I
Email?
used this is Jing, which is another one of our favorite hand dyers from the UK, and Metal and Tush.
Yay! Beautiful.
Yeah.
What have you got, Lenora?
Hi there, I'm Lenora.
Hello,
Lenora.
Lenora.
I'm the Cajun and the crochet queen, but I don't think I'm
sorts of
crocheting
things.
today. So, Alina told you about
She doesn't know.
People. Am I crocheting?
I am speaking.
I don't even know
I don't know.
anymore.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's like this every day at the knitting tree, if you're wondering. Alina told you about some of this neighborhood fiber co that we have. Here are two other new things we stocked from them. Gradient kits, fingering weight yarn,
How much yardage?
superwash merino.
This
I'm
is
talking
a
about
single
fiber
ply.
furs.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yes.
And
They're
this
both
one's the sock.
superwash, yeah. Massive yardage in, this happens to be shades of lilac, which sounds very southern to me, but yeah, that's why I'm doing it. Hey, the whole kit has 1,250 yards in it. So
Massive.
super for doing your gradient shawls,
could do
doing
a
a fun
sweater.
kind of
Sweater,
sweater.
yeah.
Nice
Or a
summer
top.
sweater.
And then, but then you have to decide: are you going dark at the top, light at the bottom, light at the top, dark at the
Definitely
bottom?
dark at the
All
bottom.
Yeah.
those
Tons of tough
decisions.
decisions
Light at
in
the
life.
top because it makes you look thinner.
That's true.
It does.
It does.
The light hits you at the top.
Well,
you look
you've
thinner.
heard it from he who needs to look thinner.
Burn.
Okay. Anyway, you get a great
Everybody
kit.
wants
It's all
to
there
look
for you. Wonderful, fabulous. And if you're doing something with lots of color, lots of stitches, again, I think we've had to restock these, haven't we?
We
Yeah.
have.
Cute little stitch markers. They are kitty cats. Wait, producer. It's kitty cats. They come in both brass and a silver finish. We have them in a large size and a smaller size, so you have options based
The
on
smaller
what you
ones are
like.
called kittens, right?
They're either cats or
They're
kittens.
cats or kittens. The smaller ones
And
are
they
kittens.
come from Firefly Notes, who's
Yes.
another really great, indie
They are.
producer of
Yeah.
fun notions.
They have those
And-
bags that we had. It's all
Yes.
fun and games
Yes,
till the yarn runs out.
We
Oh,
know how
man.
that is. Yeah. So big fun stuff there for your projects. Another thing, I know it's a yarn, but that's okay. It bleeds into the next thing I'm doing. Bleeds in. Haha, I made a joke. Aracunia Mana. What? No, say it.
Araucania.
Cajuns don't speak Spanish.
Araucania.
Mana, 100% silk.
Luxury.
This is your luxury yarn. This is not for your 6-year-old little boy. Okay? This is luxury yarn, your heirloom things, the things you really love. And I am actually knitting with it right now.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yarn claims it's a worsted weight. And I am knitting it on a 9 and loving the drape I get out of it on a 9.
Beautiful.
But now
So
that's
nice.
my gauge. So
I love the way it's patterned.
whatever.
Too.
Yeah, fun.
We've had this
So-
yarn for a while, but we did just do a restock and we have some new colors. So that's why we're featuring it. It's on our front table.
Love it.
The new colors are really fabulous.
Beautiful.
Table.
Love that.
Yes.
Top. What is that you're wearing?
Oh, Woolfolk.
Oh.
I know it's summer and this is wool, but it's Woolfolk and it's sleeveless, so that counts as summer wear.
And it's
soft.
very
Maybe.
soft.
Oh, wait, right here a little bit.
Oh,
This one is made with tinned and snow combined.
It's
so.
gorgeous.
It's
I
very
love those
pretty.
details.
That's their
you put on
fingering
it.
weight wool.
Oh, stand up. This is that's why I named it. Can you see the blue blazes?
Oh,
The name of my top. What in the blue blazes did you do
This
this
is your
time?
design?
It's my design.
Is
yeah.
it available on
So
Ravelry?
cool.
No, I didn't write the pattern yet because I don't know how to write the
Get
pattern.
on it.
Ask for the
Everybody's going to be
pattern.
clamoring for your pattern.
But I don't know how to make a line and it's all in target and move it over and I don't know how to write
We'll
that
figure
part.
it out.
Okay,
We'll
we'll
have-
figure
Coming
it out.
soon.
Okay.
Yes.
Figure it
Coming
out.
soon.
My
You're
turn.
on. Yarn
on,
dude.
I'm Chris. I'm the yarn dude.
Dude.
Too much caffeine?
A little bit.
Right on the edge.
Hedgehog fibers. You know it, you love it. New colors. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, this fingering weight yarn. She manages to pack like 110% of the most gorgeous, beautiful, intense shades into this stuff. It's nice and soft, and it is the perfect summery accent.
You have to show the purple running through
Oh,
there.
always a little unexpected color. I love this dark green
Yep.
that's like in this crazy, crazy fuchsia. A little bit of yellow orange in there. They're
Why not?
all beautiful. They're all beautiful.
And you know it comes all the way from Ireland and it takes forever to get here. So it goes, when it goes, it goes. So you better
goes.
come get it.
Get it while we have it.
Yeah.
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 It is
Yeah.
like the hottest
It's
thing right now.
super, super special. What am I doing next?
Didn't you have a gadget?
I have a
What's
gadget.
that?
Oh,
If you have gadgets like stitch markers,
What are you gonna put them in?
Yeah.
the sheep tin.
Ah.
It has a really cool sort of vintage look, a nice retro image on it, and a very nice new metal container to
Also
hold a
from
bunch of stuff.
Firefly Notes, who make the stitch markers.
Right.
She's really
Firefly
great
Notes.
with cool vintage imagery that she finds and kind of recycles.
You can even
and-
keep your mustache wax in there.
That's what you said first.
That's
Never
where I
know
keep
when you might
mine.
need
I
it.
don't use that much. So today on my needles is something on a hook. I've been working on this pattern that's cleverly called Brim Hat Number 1.
Wow, where'd they think of that?
Ooh.
Well, shout out to our customer Mariana who found this designer online. Her name is Valentina Grishina. Check the show notes.
Russian.
She makes the coolest crocheted hat patterns. They're classic, but they're modern, and I'm working this up in Neighborhood Fiber Company. the chunky yarn, and it's, you know, sort of a retro look, just a nicely shaped hat with a little teeny short curled up brim.
That's
And
super cute.
This is
Love
going to be
it.
a present for Anissa that works at the store,
Yeah.
who never happens to be here on the day that we're
How
filming.
can that be?
And why does she get a present if she's not here?
Yeah, that's a good point.
But you know, she runs our gallery here.
Yes.
Which is, Bruce was showing
She
me
does a
some
good
of the
job.
current exhibit. Yeah, great gallery and social media gal. So I guess maybe she gets a gift. I don't
guess.
know.
And that's one thing we haven't talked about is our gallery. Not
Right.
only do we have a beautiful store, but we have this amazing gallery that's devoted specifically to the fiber arts. So we get to showcase
Right.
a lot of people that usually don't get love in the art world, but they're so highly skilled. He's going to show you a couple shots of the artwork after we're done here.
It's really inspiring.
Yes,
It is. We've been able to bring in stuff. We've all kinds of mediums, stuff that none of us have ever seen. So it's been really, really exciting, like crocheted portraiture, sculpture, working with
Felting. I
felt.
love that.
Yeah, felt and silk.
yeah,
Like, yeah. So it's been inspiring for all of us, and really exciting to bring in a new audience that's
Right.
interested in that sort of thing.
Also,
It's called the Branch Gallery.
yes. And shout out to our new neighbors, fiber store called Sew Together Fiber Lounge.
Oh, neat.
Yes.
Coming-
Stitch, I'm sorry, Stitch Lounge.
Stitch
Sew
Lounge.
Together Stitch Lounge.
There you go.
Lounge. They're going to be opening on August 1st, so we're going to have a whole
right next door.
fiber center here.
They will be
This
right
is
next
gonna
door
be a-
to us.
Yes.
You
Yarn,
can get
fabric.
inspired.
And beer.
Get
we have a
your-
brewery, the Three Weavers Brewery. We
Yeah.
love that.
Well,
yeah.
Many
Anyway,
reasons. to
excuse me,
visit.
it's morning.
That's okay. They open at like 4.
I think they open at noon. Do they?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, what's this? We forgot to talk about the trunk show.
yes. We have Woolfolk Luft.
Which we
that's
talked about in our
this.
first
We did
podcast.
talk about this. It's a.
We still love it.
It's a worsted weight merino and cotton blend. I love it. It's super light, perfect for LA.
Their newest yarn.
This
and
is
we
how
have
it
their
knits
trunk
up.
show.
It's so three-dimensional. You get so many different layers because you get the lights against the darks, and it just holds the stitches so nicely. So we've got 2 here. This one is called Marmor, M-A-R-M-O-R. It's part of their Left collection, and this one, this
I love
gorgeous
that.
shawl,
I love
is
that
called S-O-L-V, Solve, and that's also part of the Left collection.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
We have a couple of other of their pieces as well, so if you want to come check it out.
Yeah,
see it
we'll
for
have it
yourself.
for a while.
Knit now for when the weather eventually turns cool.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Don't wait.
It's also like, because it's cotton
Well, the cotton,
primarily, it's not super warm.
It's kind
Yeah.
of
It's like-
transitional.
yeah.
Yeah, transitional.
It's good for LA.
I'm always in transition to
It
what?
has
Sometimes I
that
don't
chunky
know.
look without
Sometimes
being
it's
hot.
from.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Sometimes it's what?
From your transition.
Oh,
From.
yes,
You
yes,
don't have to
yes.
know where you're going. You're just leaving.
That's often work.
Sure.
Okay, guys. Well, that's
Let's
gonna
just
wrap.
transition out of it.
Yes.
Good
Speaking of
one.
transitions.
Good one. So stay tuned because we're gonna have
Sam.
Sam Barsky.
If
We're
you
gonna
don't know who he is, you will soon.
Yeah.
He kind of went viral this year. He makes these incredible sweaters. He does all this entire just by eye.
Out of his head.
He does not use
No
charts.
charts.
And he's just fun.
amazing. And he's the nicest
Oh,
man.
him and his wife and Deborah, his wife.
Deborah.
Were just the most gracious, lovely, generous people, and it was so refreshing and sweet, and
What a funny
we
thing.
love him.
What a funny thing.
I
It
thought
was
he was
really
a stand-up
fun
comic.
evening.
We had a great time.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like kind
with
of
his
like
jokes. What was that
stand-up
joke
comic.
he said? What is the regret that you have from pulling out stitches? What is it called?
The punchline is. She's
I
terrible.
forgot what the punchline was. Something about wait.
Untinkable?
Yes! You have to do the unthinkable. I'm sorry, should we do that again?
Oh my god!
Like I said, this is every day.
Welcome to my world.
Hi, I'm Annette Corsino Blair back again. We were lucky enough to have Sam Barsky sweater maker extraordinaire with us tonight, and he did a meet and greet, and we just wanted to ask him a few questions after the event. He was nice enough to sit here with us and do that. So welcome, Sam Barsky.
Hi.
This is one of my favorite sweaters here. This is a sweater of all of the sweater. Well, this was his 100th sweater. So he picked out 34?
Yes, that's correct.
34 sweaters to do in miniature on this sweater, and this is my favorite. I just love it. So thanks for coming, Sam. I wanted to ask you a few questions about your creative process.
Yes.
And now the biggest surprise to me was that you don't work from a chart. Can you talk to us about how your actual process of placing the stitches where they are?
Yes. First, I pick out the yarns, and I use yarns that resemble things in the real world. Like on the one I'm wearing, I used a variegated blue to look like the water, and a variegated orange and yellow to look like the sky. And then what I do is, like, there's a background in different sections. There's like blocks of color that represent different sections, and so there's the background color, which in this case is this variegated blue, and then I put different objects within the background in whatever part of it is. Like this one is maybe a little before halfway, so a little before halfway I'll put this duck in. In this case it has a few different yarns in it. And then if I want to do a curved line, I just do in the next row, I do a few stitches over from where it was in the previous row.
Mm-hmm. So you're charting it out in your head, basically.
Yes. And I don't have the exact location of every color change in mind beforehand most of the time. A lot of the time I'll just do it gradually. As I go along, I'll decide how much to do, and I'll do it like a certain portion along the way.
So you go by feel?
Yes, exactly.
Cool. That's how most artists work, I find. So what is your next venture in sweater making?
My next sweater that I'm working on, and I started it on the flight to LA, is a reptile sweater. And I'm making it because of a presentation I'm doing in Baltimore next month at a nature center that has a lot of reptiles. So it's going to have things like snakes and lizards and other similar animals on it.
Oh, wonderful. And you're traveling from here to Vegas, right?
Yes.
And you've made how many sweaters for Vegas?
3. Plus I have a lot of others that I can pose on the strip with.
I can't wait to see those pictures. Now, you've done the Hollywood one for LA. We're very excited. When I saw you were making this, I was like, yes, he's coming to LA. So we're so excited that you came and you shared so much of yourself with us. And good luck in Vegas.
Thank you.
Don't lose too much money over there. Are you a gambler?
No, I'm not a gambler. So I was in Vegas one time in my life before, and I gambled 50 cents just to get the feel of what it was like.
Yeah.
I have no interest in gambling.
God. Keep those creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Sam. We're so happy that you were here for.
My pleasure. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, good. Hope you come back again.
Yes, I hope so too.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome, Sam.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sam Barsky. I'm from Baltimore. The first thing you might notice here is what I'm wearing and what is displayed around here. I'm sure that's what you're here all about.
Right.
So anyway, I'm first going to share the story of how I got into doing this. Back in the 1990s, I was in college. I was studying to be a nurse. But during the time, I always noticed people knitting. And I thought, that's something I want to do one day. I was at a flea market one day, and I came across a table that I had never seen there before, even though I went there every week. And there were these 3 ladies at the table. They were selling yarn, and they were knitting. And I asked them, how do you learn how to do that? And they said, we can teach you under one condition, which is that you buy our yarn. So I said, okay. Like, first of all, to make a long story short, I've long fulfilled my yarn debt to them. I purposely wore a commercial sweater that I had back then with a paisley design on it there, so I could show them what I wanted to do. And they told me that's for very experienced knitters. And they said, we're going to start you with a solid color scarf today. And I was kind of disappointed. I wanted to do more than that, but that's all they wanted to teach me at first. So within a few weeks after that, I found out about another yarn shop in the Baltimore area, about 10 minutes away from where I live, and I went there, and the owner of that shop, she took an instant liking to me, and she said, you're going to walk out of here today having started a sweater. And it took me 8 months. I got it done by the end of the year, by the end of 1999, and I was so happy to have had my first sweater completed by the end of the century. I thought I want to do something different now. I want to do something multicolored, where you change the color of the yarn. Around that time, in Vogue Knitting magazine, I noticed that the subscription card had a picture of a sweater with a map of the world and a globe, and I thought this is what I want to do next. But the owner of this is yarn shop number 2. She told me a very familiar line. She said, that's only for experienced knitters. But I refused to take no for an answer. I contacted Vogue Knitting magazine, and I asked, is that pattern available? And they said, sure it is. And interestingly, they told me it was pattern number 702, which happens to be the minute of the evening in which I was born. There's something. And I ordered the pattern from them. I bought some yarn. I did it in different colors than the pattern called for, but I followed the graph, and it took me 5 months, and I have a picture of it with me here. This is a picture of, this one here is the map of the world. So after that, there was the question that's come up again, what's next now? So I wanted to do a sweater with a picture of some nature scene. The idea came from when I was driving one day on the highway, and I saw there was a cloudy sky. It was mostly blue, but with patches of clouds here. I thought that looks like an interesting sweater pattern, a cloudy sky. But no such pattern existed. And then I was thinking of other elements of nature, such as bodies of water and mountains and stuff like that. And I thought I could add that into it. But no such pattern existed once again. So I thought I have to design my own. So I started drawing a picture like that on some graph paper. And as I was doing that, trying to figure it out, I thought, why do I even need this graph paper? Why can't I just freehand it as I go along? It doesn't seem like it's that hard to do. So I took some yarn that I had at home, and I started knitting some, it was this color here. I only have a picture of it here with me, this variegated brown and rust color yarn and gray. I put a little on each side like that, and in the middle I was doing some blue and some white and stripes with some wavy lines, and it actually was looking like water coming down from a waterfall. And then I did like alternating blue and white here, and it looked like a waterfall. I thought, this is a success. I realized this is what I'm going to do with my life now. So there was the question now. It's like, how much experience do you need to do that? And here I have the answer to that. 17 months. I Googled yarn shops in Maryland, and I found that in a suburb of Washington, I called them up, and they said they had it. So I said, quick, put a couple of these on hold, and I'll be right over. And I got in my car at that very moment, and I drove an hour all the way to this yarn shop just for a skein of yarn. And I thought, am I crazy? I know many of you out here where driving distances like that is normal. You're probably used to that. And then I thought, I did 2 successfully. I have to try something else now. And I realized also that spring was coming. If I want to wear these things all year long, I can't wear these long sleeve woolen sweaters all the time. So that's where I got the idea to do a short sleeve cotton sweater. But here's a problem. I've seen plenty of women wear short sleeve sweaters before, but I never saw men wear any. Now here was a line that I had to cross. I realized I could do anything now. 2003 happened to be the year I ended up getting married. I had met this lovely lady out here in 2002, and we decided to get married. We got married at the end of 2003. So through the year 2002, I was getting one sweater after another done on a roll. I got probably about 15 of them done that year. The next year, since I was busy getting ready for my wedding, I only got 2 of them done. But then I got busy again. Here, I woke up one morning and I looked and I had over 100 Facebook friend requests in one day. And I thought, have I been hacked? Because before there was a hacking. But then I was looking at my messages and people said, you know, you're in this article in the news or that article, and that article went viral. And within hours after that, the mass media picked up on it. And I found I was getting calls for interviews from all over the world. People were saying, can you come into an interview? And they thought that they would be the next one for the interview. So I had like 3,000 interview requests.
What a nice problem to have.
And I still am getting them.
He's been on TV, radio.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting interviewed by a lot of the local news stations, a lot of the local radio stations, CNN, NBC. I was on the Today Show. I was on shows in other countries. I was on the BBC. I even had to get translators to give interviews in other languages. I couldn't even believe what was going on. I knew something like this would happen one day, but I didn't ever imagine it would be that sudden, that unexpected. And it's like every time I see like a news story, they talk about a man who knits all these sweaters. It's like, I find it hard to believe that's me. I still naturally think that's some other person who I've never heard of, or like my normal self. It's hard to believe this. So I'm looking into writing a book. I have a publisher lined up. Besides other things. So everyone, thank you for all your time. I'm going to share with you some of the techniques I use to do this, and I'll have questions and answers. So anyway, I'll go walk over to this one first. This is a good one to start with. One of the techniques I use is I use yarns that resemble things in the real world. So as you see, this is a variegated blue. It looks like water. Here's a variegated yellow and peach yarn. It looks like a sunset sky. Or you can see on this one, this is like a darker version of that. This also looks like a sunset sky. So I use yarns that look pretty much like you do. Like this green looks like vegetation. This looks like autumn vegetation. If you're in a yarn shop, which I know all of you are in one now, I'm sure all of you have spent plenty of time in yarn shops. You can try to figure out what yarns look like what, and then before I make a sweater, I try to figure out what yarn will I use to represent this or that, and then I estimate what goes where. So I think of like the background, and I figure out what colors I'm going to use for the background, and then there are different objects on the background, or different sections of the background. Like this one over here has different sections. Like has a tan section that's here. I have to turn this around to show more details of it.
Wow.
Like this has a tan section here. This is the sky. These are the mountains. This is the road. So those are backgrounds. And then I put objects on it. So I find yarns like this one is a combination of 2 yards. One that's light green and one this is gray eyelash. So it looks like cactus plants that you see in the Arizona desert. And here's another one. This is one of my most recently completed ones. Since I'm going to Las Vegas next week, I made 3 Las Vegas area landmarks into sweaters for this trip. And this one also has a road. These are some of the best known landmarks of the strip, like the Luxor and the Excalibur. This one over here is Red Rock Canyon. And then down here on the bottom there is the Hoover Dam. And for LA, I made earlier this year a Hollywood signed sweater. I knew it was only a matter of time before someone would call me out to LA, so I made a Hollywood signed sweater. This is my 100th lifetime sweater. Wow. When the year 2016 began, I realized I had made 91 of them in my whole life. I had done 9 of them in the past year, so I could match that easily in the next year. So I thought 2016 will be the year I get to number 100. And I thought, what will I do for number 100? It has to be really special, really unusual. And I was talking to a lot of people about it. And people had all different suggestions for me. And one of the ideas was to make a sweater of sweaters. So I figured I could fit 34 of them into here. I picked 34 of my favorite sweaters I had done and decided to make miniature versions of them on here. So as you see, here's the ice. Here's the Lorex one, as you see over here. And here's the Venice one down here. And on one sleeve, here's the Power Lines one. This one is the one that you see back there on the wooden mannequin. It has power lines. And
oh yeah, oh that's really great.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
and on the other sleeve, I have the playing cards.
That's so great.
Yes.
And here's, this one is on here too, right in the corner. I didn't necessarily use the same yarns as in the original, but I tried to get as close as possible. One of them that I regretfully could not bring on this trip, I tried to fit it into my suitcase with all these others, and I couldn't. It's the Golden Gate Bridge. So, but here's a miniature so you can see it.
One more thing, my husband also did the sweaters of all the holidays, all the Jewish holidays. So he had the Pesach sweater, he had the Hanukkah sweater that glows in the dark.
I couldn't bring any of them along.
Oh.
The way I don't check my sweaters in checked luggage because of the risk of losing them. So I have the suitcase over there. It's the maximum allowable size for carry-on. And I just try to squeeze as many as I can in there. And what you see is what I could fit in there.
We understand.
And the sweaters for your wife?
I've tried making her dresses before, sweater dresses, but she's not much of a knitwear fan.
Yeah, I have a question. Do you have a picture of your studio? Do you work in your home or do you have a separate studio? And like, is your wall filled with yarn?
Most of the knitting I do is with knitting groups, which I go to almost all the time at home. Social knitting groups at yarn shops or various other places. Some are at libraries, some at cafes, and I go to like sometimes 2 or 3 of them a day, and temporarily I'm planning on standing in front of the Luxor and
I know that you said you don't graph things, but do you like make a picture of what you're thinking, or is it just purely free form?
It's free form. Sometimes I'll have to study pictures of the actual place to know what it looks like, but to capture like little details of it, but I don't like draw it out or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you start at the bottom up?
Yes, I first do the ribbing and work my way up. I do that on the front and the back, attach them here, and then I do the sleeves also like
Are
that.
they all the same style? You do the same basic shape?
Yes, I have a long sleeve and a short sleeve way of doing it.
Sam, you were saying on one of your sweaters that you go so far, stop, do the middle part, and then use another yarn to do the other part rather than run the yarn across to have that long, draw across as you're knitting. Do you do that often?
Yes, that's the best way to do it because otherwise there would be lots of white strings across here.
Yeah. But like on this one here where you did the bow, did you do the ocean and then?
Yes, like here, I use a variegated blue. I use this and a different skein of variegated blue
different
here.
skein. That's what I am looking at.
How about the ends? You don't work in the ends?
Yeah, so that's what I do. I invented my own word to describe that technique. I call it nitpicking with a K. And the reason why I coined that term is because it's very tedious. It's the part I least like about it. I admit I have some sweaters that aren't fully nitpicked, including this one. That's my word for it.
What's the fastest time frame that you've gotten a sweater done in?
8 days, and I had to get it done quickly for an event, and I did it on size 11 needles. If I have to get a quickie done for a certain event or place I'm going to, I'll do one on size 11 needles, and that's the quickest I've ever done.
What's a normal size needle you use?
Like maybe 8, 9, 10 range.
Okay.
How much ripping out do you do?
I try to avoid it, but sometimes I have gone back, and I actually, some sweaters I've torn apart and started from the beginning all over again. Like that Venice one over there, I had a lot of trouble with it, so I finished it, tore it apart, and did it again.
On your sleeves, do you knit the sleeves separately, then sew them on, or have you tried where you actually slip the yarn from the needle onto a needle around the opening and then do circular?
Yes, I knit them and then I sew them on.
Okay.
Because that's what's in Tarsha, that you can't do things circular.
Right, yeah.
So it's like I have to use straight needles except for this,
Okay.
and then I can't do it in the round, and then I have to attach it. There's all kinds of limitations with Tarsha.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.
I'll see you for episode 4.
Bye. Check show notes.
Yeah, show notes.
Show notes.
Show notes.